Hi there guys, so I'm going to be talking about native and non-native English speakers and the hiring policy here in China. Let's get to it. We'll start with definition, shall we? So, a native English speaking teacher is defined as someone who both speaks English as their first language and is a citizen of one of the following countries. And those are these ones here. So we have the United Kingdom, Ireland, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, USA, and Australia. If you're a citizen of a country such as India, the Philippines, or the Caribbean islands, English may well be your first language, but you're still not technically defined as a native English speaker. So a non-native English speaker is everyone else. So now that we've looked at definitions, let's cast our eye on the policy, shall we? So here we are on the Ministry of Justice, the People's Republic of China website. And it's all in Chinese. All right, so let's snap our fingers here, yeah, and let's switch that to English, shall we? Ah, that's so much better. I can actually read it now. All right, so we're going to be looking at Article 8. Yeah, that's what that one there. So let's zoom in on that, and let's highlight the sentence here. So those who have a bachelor's degree or above have received corresponding special training in language teaching, have obtained corresponding language training qualifications, and are generally engaged in native language teaching in the native country. All right, it's a mouthful to read, and the translation probably isn't the best. It's taken from Google. But it's suggesting that basically if you want to be a language subject teacher, you need to be from that country. If you need more evidence, I went on to WeChat today, that's the social platform, the media that we use, and went to the job groups. And here were the job advertisements. This is just from today. So, detailed requirements, native English speaker, there we go, native English speaker, native English speaker, different salaries for native and non-native English speakers, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. There you go. So, how about we get an opinion of a non-native English speaking teacher here?
Hey there. Hey. You're a non-native English speaking teacher, right?
Yes, I am.
What do you think about China's policy when it comes to non-native English speaking teachers?
Well, so basically I teach physics, so I don't really care very much the policy. Sorry about that.
All right. Well, that wasn't very helpful. Gorka's birthday is actually coming up, and I think I know what I'll be getting him. Anyway, let's take a trip through time, shall we, to kind of see where this idea of the native speaker came from. And it basically comes from Chomsky. Yeah, the concept of the native speaker is often attributed to Noam Chomsky. Chomsky's notion of the terms native speaker and competence has actually given a lot of credibility to the native speaker today. Chomsky defines a native speaker as an ideal speaker listener in a completely homogeneous speech community who knows its language perfectly. That's pretty straightforward. And Chomsky regards competence as intuitive knowledge of grammatical and ungrammatical utterances in a language. So obviously there's been a lot of pushback towards these ideas as well throughout the decades. We don't have time to get into that. But the idea is still pervasive today. We'll see that if we jump back into present day. We can have a look at 51 Talk and the CEO there, Jack Huang. He gave an interview recently, and he talks about the importance of learning from native speakers. Let's have a quick look at that, shall we?
The most direct way to truly improve one's ability to use English is to have one-on-one lessons with native English speaking teachers.
There you have it, people. So, the common arguments for native English speaking teachers are, well, basically, social linguistic competence, creative language use, knowledge of standard and non-standard forms of English, cultural background, pronunciation, vocabulary, and intonation, and more authentic and less bookish. So basically what we're saying here is that native speakers are able to use English in a variety of ways, right? Context dependent. And they can also bring the learner into their culture, right? Show them the way. So that's these are basically the main arguments for a native speaker, I would say. And what of non-native English-speaking teachers? Well, let's have a look at what Ben has to say.
Hey, you're a native speaking teacher, aren't you?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on China's policies when it comes to native speakers and non-native speakers?
Funny you ask. I think that the best teachers of English I ever met were non-native speakers. And they're great at teaching their second language because they know it more intimately than first language speakers. So I think it's a silly rule, really. It's not sensible.
Oh, well, isn't he lovely? His birthday's coming up soon, and I think I know what I'll be getting him. Yeah. All right, so the common arguments for non-native English-speaking teachers are basically perfect language learner models for students, better insight into language learning process, and are generally committed to the profession. So basically, they've been there, they've done it, right? So they can show the students it is possible through hard work. But let's stop here and think for a moment, shall we? The differences between native English-speaking and non-native English-speaking teachers are largely imagined, or at least subjective, or at least they are in my opinion. You can be a fantastic native English-speaking teacher just as well as you can if you're a non-native, and vice versa. You can be lousy as well, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter where you're from. But the inequalities are not imagined between native and non-native English-speaking teachers. Non-native English-speaking teachers are given less employment opportunities, are often given lower salaries, and are seen by many as less qualified. And that's a big stigma there. And here's a bold thought coming up. Robert Philipson argues that the idea of the native speaker is a fallacy in order to maintain relations of dominance by those countries over the periphery English-speaking countries. That comes from his book, Linguistic Imperialism. It's a fascinating read, actually. Is he right? Is he wrong? I don't know. Either way, is this the message we want to be communicating to our students in an increasingly globalized world? I don't know. What do you think?